What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Now he is back once more, Paulo Namolo, with some more bombshells to drop regarding Juventus. Do we believe him? Do we think it's a lot of hooey? Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconerizonechannel. My name is Justin Sofro, and today it is Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. Of course, I've got your latest rundown of all things Juventus, all the news you care about each and every single day. Before we do anything though, do me a solid favor, as I always ask you, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Now, without further ado, we're gonna just dive into this thing, and when I say that, I mean we are going to dive into this thing. We're gonna go quick hit, and we're gonna get through this because there are a lot of points to talk about, and I'll give you a little bit less of the me-ness of this in the video. All right, let's get into it. Be a little bit less opinionated, Justin. All right, let's go. First up, Paulo Namolo says that Elkin has put finance men in charge of the club to solve the budgetary issues. Then people will be brought in to create a new course based on sustainable growth path. Sorry, I gotta do it. I gotta break in right away with this. I'm sorry, finance men. So is this like the Men in Black? So we just have like people that come in, no names, no statuses, no information, who these people are. You're just gonna give us finance men. There's finance men coming in. Are they actual employees of Juventus? Are they some background secret organization that's just trying to cook the books a little bit? Maybe they'll balance the books. Let's say balance the books. Maybe not cook the books. Let's say balance the books. So what is it? Is it like sport? Or are you just going to go get football men to cover football? I want to know a little bit more information about these finance men. Of course, I guess he's going to try to do things the right way, but we will see. Anyway, goes on to say there will be a return to a Marotta-like role that can say what is possible, what is not financially. An Italian block on the field and Juventus men in the management. Obviously, we will see how well they can do this. When they say Juventus men in the management, I'm guessing they're talking about bringing back guys like Del Piero, people like that who know what it means to be Juventini, but at the same time, interesting information all the same. And then Marotta basically can come back and tell us that we can't afford anything. All right, let's continue on and move on into January, which Paulo Namolo talks about. There's a possibility of anticipating some transfer deals in January to get ahead in case of bans from the UEFA, all lowercase obviously, which is as of today. We do not risk, to be clear, but we should not be found unprepared. If you do not risk, why do you need to be prepared? Obviously, be prepared for anything. I'm not saying that's a bad move, but I don't understand this kind of thinking. So we're going to do some things to anticipate this. We're going to move some transfers out. Maybe we'll bring some guys in, spend cheaper, sell maybe a little bit more reserved. I don't know what they're exactly doing here. We talk about the guys that could be sold. We talk about Weston McKennie. If you're trying to do anything to get ahead of anything, are you trying to, I don't know, I guess trying to like balance things out a little bit? Maybe actually selling a guy like Rabiot? I don't know. I don't understand exactly which way they want to go about this. But at the same time, if you don't risk anything, do you actually not risk anything? Or are you just saying that because you want to be on the side that you don't risk anything? And for all intents and purposes, it seems that things should not be risked for Juventus right now because of what you've seen with the courts and what they've said. It's really all just comes down to Ceferin and his nonsense and his how big of a bone does he still have to pick with Juventus now that Agnelli's gone. That'll be something that'll be interesting to watch, though the club still takes the stance when it comes to the Super League that they're all about that, so he's probably not too happy with the old lady. All right, let's continue on, though. As I said, let me go ahead and try to shut myself up a little bit. At last, it has been realized that foreigners, besides often not being better than Italian players, are using the Italian league and also Juve as a springboard for money from top European and English players. I'll be honest, while I inherently should like this because I love Italian talent, it's my driving factor of why I'm such a big fan of Juventus, why I'm a big fan of the Italian national team. It goes back to my story as a fan, right? I don't love this. This is such an antiquated, weird, socially, I don't know, tone deaf way to think about this. I don't know. I really like it. I understand they're saying a lot of players try to get that's sport. That is sport. Sport is trying to get as much money as you can when you can. That's what sport is. Like it's not, it doesn't work the same way as, you know, somebody going to work at McDonald's or going to work at whatever. I hate that I always go to McDonald's. Why did I go to McDonald's? And somebody going to their day job working in an office, right? It doesn't work the same. You pay ridiculous amounts of money because guess what? Sport makes a ridiculous amount of money. You're able to do that. It makes sense. But anyway, going into this, yeah. Players from all other countries are going to try to use whatever they can to get better. They're using the other leagues to get better deals, to move to bigger opportunities. It's unfortunate that, yeah, EPL teams may have bigger teams. Chelsea, Manchester United, more money, more funds, maybe not more history, but you know what I mean. More success. Real Madrid, these places, it makes sense. I don't understand what you're pissing and moaning about right now. That's what I don't understand. And it's cool that you want to use more Italian talent, and I get it. There are a lot of players who have not lived up to what you hope to see them do at Juventus. But at the same time, I'm not sure that only focusing in or really, really, really focusing in on Italian talent is the only way to go, especially when you're seeing that they're not living up to it right now on the international stage. I know they just won the Euros, but you know what I'm talking about. All right. Just a weird thought. I had to get that one out there. Sorry, a little bit of ranting. Let's try and see if I can do this without yelling and screaming every single anecdote. All right, moves on. He goes on to say, in the coming years, the focus will be on an Italian block of players who grew up in Italy and therefore also linked to the country, which is why the path of the U23 is developing well. A path of belonging is being created. Now, again, I'm not going to go in and say that this is a bad thing. It's a good thing. I want to see great Italian talent. I want to see the Italian national team develop talent and have guys to rely on so that they don't get taken out by Jorginho penalties. Once again, failed penalties, and they miss another World Cup. That's cool. That's all fine and dandy. But I'm just saying, do not be as close-minded to think about just putting these Italian players over the good of the entire club when you can get better players, right? That would leave out Vlahovic. You wouldn't have Vlahovic here, right? I don't know. Moving on, he goes on to say, youngsters will be added to Zaniolo, Bremer, Locatelli, Pogba, Chiesa, and perhaps Vlahovic, because here a deal has been made that on an accounting level is quite illogical. Already at a top wage, and the renewal phase one will not be easy. I sit with this a little bit oddly because obviously Pogba, Locatelli, Bremer, Danilo, okay, whatever. That's fine. Bremer, Locatelli, Pogba, Chiesa, yeah, those guys are your top tier talent that you want to invest in. Vlahovic should be as well. The problem is Vlahovic, I mean, he's had injury issues, but at the same time, has he lived up to being the striker that I really want him to be? He's had some really good moments, but he hasn't been Mr. Reliable. The things that again, it's not fair to completely categorize him as a Ronaldo type player, but that's the expectation of what you'd hope for him to be when he comes into the club. Only, obviously, Ronaldo, Messi, those guys are on another level. Pele, whatever, they're all on another level. It's fine. But at the same time, your expectations are, I'm going to pay you this way. We want you. We're investing in you. You're going to be this kind of player. And right now, until he lives up to being the most reliable guy out there, where you feel like at any moment he can create a goal for Juventus, then I understand why there may be a little trepidation in trying to pay him more money, raise those wages up. Though, if you want to keep him, you're going to have to invest in them some more along the road because, as you know, there are wolves at the gate. They want to bring him in to their clubs, and we will see what happens. All right, let's continue moving on. This is a bit laughable, but to date, the only player who will receive an offer is Juan Cuadrado at half his current salary. And that right there is a summation of where the club is right now. Juan Cuadrado, dead in the water. Get out of here. We're done. Nope, not so fast. Now Juventus potentially will offer him an extension at half a salary, but to stay with the club potentially. Please don't take it. Just leave, my guy. I can't do this anymore. I don't know what to say. Like, I don't want to be disrespectful to a Juventus player, but like, come on, let's move it along. Everybody else hates on McKinney, and everybody else, I'm sorry, I'm going to take a shot at Juan Cuadrado. Sorry for that. Anyway, moving on. We don't need it. All right, let's continue on and go back to another option that Juventus are looking at, the Italian defense, and they are looking at options for the back position. Let's say go on to say that for the back position, the choice is falling on that of Parisi, who we have talked about here on the channel previously. Could be an option option for Juventus in the January Mercado. Juve want to close the deal in January with Sule potentially going to Empoli along with De Winter's loan renewal. So keep an eye on that. That could be an option coming in to bolster that back line. All right. We move forward and talk about some goalkeeper options for Juventus. Paulo Namolo goes on to say they are also talking with Empoli about Vicario, who is preferred now over Carnesecchi because he is already considered mature and reliable. So definitely two more options that you can see bolster that. See, now I'm being quiet. Now I'm not going over the top in my breakdown and my ranting. Okay, guys? Anyway, we move on. Cherubini is thinking about making a bid in June for 30 million euros of Bastoni, who is out of contract until 2024. Here's the thing. Me of a couple years ago would have liked the idea of bringing in Bastoni to Juventus. Of course, there's a part of me that it does appeal to me, a Italian young center back who could hopefully come back and, replace the Bonucci's and Chiellini's. But the problem is, to me, as of today, I haven't felt that same kind of enthusiasm about Bastoni. I don't think Bastoni is nearly the player that he was sold to be, that he was developed to be. People throw out the ideas that he was like, the guy to replace the Chiellini's, I know, when I say Bonucci's, I know how you all feel about Bonucci, but the Chiellini's of the world. And now I'm not so sure, and I'm not even sure about 30 million euros. Is it worth it? Probably, but at the same time, we'll see. Maybe with a better leadership, maybe with a better plan, and I was about to say a club that is financially stable. That I can't even say that right now. Maybe we'll see how it works out. All right, let's continue on. Talking about other defenders Juventus could be pursuing, Nomolo says this: for the role of the left midfielder, the dream is always Bajashile. Very difficult by now. There's also Pavlovic and Gvardiol, though, who was very much followed after the World Cup. It becomes impossible. I love Bajashile. To me, that's the guy that I would always want. Two more news stories, of course, one's for me, one's for everybody else. And that first one is this one. So many will mention Savic's name in the coming months. My understanding, however, is that the major investment will be made for a winger, although there is a swap idea for June with Moise Kean, a door never closed by Tade. So something interesting we will have to see. I'm still under the boat, and I still believe right now. Sorry, Namolo, you haven't been complete. You were good. A couple cycles ago, you were on everything. The money, right. Last one, you were not right. You're a little wrong. So right now, I'm a little bit sticky. I'm going to be a little bit more reserved. I understand it takes a lot of money, but I think deals now, it's going to be whittling down a little bit. Maybe Lil Tito has softened up a little bit, given his comments about Juventus. Maybe it's also because he's scared right now, because if they check their books, where they could be in trouble too. But Milinkovic Savic, could it happen to Juventus? He wants to come to Juve. Juve definitely want him, but will everything work out in the end? I say make it happen. I still say make it happen. All right. And another option, I guess, if you don't go for Milinkovic Savic, if you go for a guy who plays a winger, plays a forward, it's Zaniolo. It's Zaniolo. It's my guy, Zaniolo. I've heard you guys. I've already seen you guys yelling and screaming on Twitter. I don't know what else to say about it, but up front, there will be investment. The idea is always Nicolo Zaniolo. People at the club think he can finally show his potential at Juve. If there's one place that we know that has definitely taken a player who has been shining or has been not shining at other places, and he comes to Juventus and he looks so much better, right? Oh, you mean that's the opposite of what Juve does? You mean Juve usually takes a shining star and brings them down a little bit where they look a little bit more average. Oh. Well, maybe there's a chance that Zaniolo will be different, right? Anyway, we'll see what happens with Zaniolo. Will he come to the club finally? I don't know. I know how you guys feel about it. I talk about it almost every day. I yelled and screamed yesterday about how right now Juventus potentially, there are talks about Napoli swooping in for Zaniolo at the price of 30 million euros, while Juve have been getting the number of 70, 60, 50, somewhere in that range, and they're getting all the way down to 30. This is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm pissed off about it. I'm not happy about it. Also, I want Gentoli. That's all I got to say. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about all the Paulo Namolo topics that we talked about today. If you haven't already, do me a solid favor, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon, stay notified for all of our latest videos. You can follow me at Justin Zofro on Twitter, and of course you can follow Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. I will see you guys next time. Forza Juve. Forza Bianconeri. Say hello to your old lady for me.